Hello and welcome everybody to my final Marvel Superheroes draft. And guess what? Contender drafts are back. Now, if you've been watching my content, I was kind of spamming these before I headed off to Europe. So I had like 2 or 3 weeks worth of Contender draft videos. And guess what? It is back. So, I was deciding between Cube and Contender draft. Figured I'll do Contender draft here to kind of do a final Marvel Superheroes draft while also kind of giving my overall thoughts on the format as a whole at the very end. Now, before we hop in, I wanted to say that this video is brought to you by TCGplayer.com. Go to TCGplayer.com for all your Match the Gathering singles and sealed product needs. If you wanted to buy some booster boxes of The Hobbit, or you wanted some singles for your standard Modern or Commander decks, check out TCGplayer.com and make sure you hit that affiliate link in the description below before making any purchases. Also, head on over to heavyplay.com for premium Match the Gathering supplies and accessories. They are your one-stop shop for top-of-the-line deck boxes, playmats, sleeves, dice boxes, life pads, and much, much more. They've also released kind of a new set of sleeves. I believe they are known as the spike sleeves. So, they're, a lot of them are known for their curved sleeves, but they actually have the more traditional versions of sleeves as well. They're constantly creating new product. Check them out, heavyplay.com/paulcheon to get 10% off your first order. All right, how are we going to start off our very final draft? Okay, there is some power in this pack. There's some removal spells in Go Nuts and Hour of Defeat. There's Killmonger, there's Jessica Jones, and then there is Avengers Under Siege. Now, this is a really good card, but I almost never draft the villains deck. Certainly splashable still, but I wonder how good it is. I mean, it feels like it's just a good thing to try to draft around, right? I just haven't, it just kind of puts you in the worst color combination, but like I said, you can splash this. Well, it's the best card. Now, I'm passing a bunch of good black and red cards, which is a little bit awkward, but let's take Avengers Under Siege and tread carefully, okay? I'm on the tread carefully plan here with this card. Like, I'm not just going to take a bad villain card here. I'm still just going to take the best card out of every pack and see where things go. But this pack has nearly no cards that I am fond of. We have Burrow Backup Raft Security Officer. I'm not going to take Repulsor Blast or Ninja of the Hand this early, I don't think. I'm going to take Burrow Backup here over Raft Security Officer only because this has basic land cycling, and we'll see. All right, this is just a good card. It does the mana fixing. I could have taken the Tapper as well, but I think both was close. Here we'll go with Hour of Defeat over Ant-Man's Army, Kree Sentinel, Crimson Operative. Just a really good removal spell. All right. Now, there is a Villainous Hideout and a Lightning Strike. So, Lightning Strike, certainly one of the cards that indicates that, red could be open, especially when you see it pick 4. So, perhaps I should be leaning towards the villains color combination. This is one of those cards, if not a lot of people are in villains, you can usually get one. I'm going to take the Lightning Strike here, and perhaps, some kind of villain shell is where we can end up. Seeing a bunch of Raft Security Officers, there's also late Nick Fury, but for me, I'm looking at Bold Biochemist as a blue card and a Crimson Operative. I think given where I'm at right now, I do think the Bold Biochemist and Security Officer are better cards, but we'll take the Crimson Operative just because of its villainous nature. Here, there is an Okoye Dora Milaje Leader, probably butchered that. That is a really good white card, but I'm going to take Bullseye here and just kind of lean into the villain shenanigans and see where we're at. I mean, you could make the case that I should be like a red-white deck or a black-white deck, but here we are. Because there's another Burrow Backup, but perfectly fine picking up a Roxanne Brutes here. Pack 1, pick 8. There's an AIM Scientist, which is a pretty good card. There's also Visions of Villainy and Unliving Legionnaire. I don't love the Legionnaire. I guess I'll take Visions of Villainy. There's no reason for me to be in blue or anything like that. Here, I don't think I want the second copy of Visions of Villainy. So let's take the black green land. There's plenty of green cards that I think I would be willing to splash. And again, it's because I'm not super interested in a second copy of this. Here we have Project Deathlock Soldier, which is okay for connive stuff. I'm gonna, you know what? I think I have I'm gonna have enough removal, and Repulsor Blast is pretty mediocre. Let's take Evil's Thrall. If I end up being a bit more aggressive, I mean, keeping the creature over a 2-turn cycle is pretty good. I love having both of these land cyclers, noting that they're both villains. But I would like to keep my curve lower here if possible. I do like Hydra Infiltration as well. I think I'm going to take that over the red-green land. I think this is just a solid value-ish card. Although noting that I didn't table the Ninja of the Hand. So that's a little bit odd just because that's the type of card that you usually get for free for the most part. So definitely need to shore up the lower part of our mana curve here. Pack 2, pick 1. We have... Wow, this is a very, very good pack. There is Vision Quest, one of my favorite cards. It is a bomb. There's Baron Strucker, Hour of Defeat, and Hulk Smash, which are all fine as well. The question is, do I want to splash for the Vision Quest or stay the course with... I think, you know what? My curve is pretty bad already. So I know I have a couple of land cyclers, and I know that the Vision Quest is good, but I think I want to commit to a very, very nice villain deck. So let's take the Baron Strucker here. Moving on to Pack 2, pick 2, we have Claw versus Cruel Alliance. I'm not huge on Madame Hydra. There's also Kingpin, which I guess you can splash, but I think I'd rather just have one of these 2 black cards. I do like Claw, but Cruel Alliance is just a little too strong, I think. Unconditional removal. Always nice to have. Black Widow on the splash. There's some blue cards. There's a Ref Security Officer. Don't really care for too many of those cards. There's a Kunlun Warrior, but it's not a villain, so I really don't want to take it for my deck. So the only on-color card here that makes sense is the Kingpin's Enforcers. It's a card I don't love, but it is a villain, so I'm just going to take it for my deck here. Moving on to Pack 2, pick 4. There's another Kingpin's Enforcers or a Kree Sentinel. There's also red-green dual land, but I don't even have a green card to splash just yet. I don't think I want to play 2 copies of this card, so let's just take a Kree Sentinel. I mean, I like the land cyclers, but 3 is definitely a lot. I guess I'll take Bullseye. Bullseye is one of those cards where actually drawing multiple copies isn't really that bad, because once one is in play, you can just discard the other one. Pack 2, pick 6, we have Red Hulk versus Hydra Troopers. I guess we'll just take the Red Hulk as a fine top end. I will say, Villains is certainly not that open. Like, it is just not that open. Okay, Red Room Recruit versus Swordsman. I have no equipment, so let's just take the Red Room Recruit. Here we have a Hydra Assault Robot, I guess. It's a 2-drop. Alright, we are going full on villains here. I mean, now we're getting to the point where if I have a low enough curve and I'm just trying to like chip away at my opponent with the Hydra Infiltrations and whatnot, could certainly do some work. Oh. Baron Helmet Zemo. It's kind of hard to cast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11. I mean, we could try it. Go nearly mono black, just splashing like Avengers Under Siege. It's a fun card. How do you boast this? Okay, you're never going to boast this. Whenever you cast a black spell from your hand, this connives. Let's just take Widow's Bite. Widow's Bite's a really good card. And I can also just draft a multicolor deck, which on average, I was going over that card, and there was just every time I read it, it just didn't look that exciting, which is why I just ultimately chose not to go for it. There's Whiplash and Hour of Defeat. Actually, I want a 1-drop. Hour of Defeat's good, but see, now I can take Lightning Strike and not feel bad about it. Avengers Tower, Thunderbolts, Conspiracy. Well, certainly not an Avengers Tower deck. I'll take Cruel Alliance. If I'm doing the Hydra Infiltration stuff, the Threaten effect is not as good. So we'll see about that as well. Oh, Dark Deed and Ares God of War. Wow. I'm going to go for Ares God of War. Baxter Building is an interesting one. Do I have enough things to actually turn this on? The answer is I have almost nothing. I don't love Agents of Hydra. Alright, I mean, if there's a deck where this is going to have some value, it's got to be this one. This pack has just more land cyclers. I don't think I need a fourth one. I guess I'll take another Ultron drone. Here I can take another Assault Robot or Ronin. Everything is a villain, alright? Everything is a villain here. Stolen Stark Tech or Grim Reaper. Guess we'll take the Grim Reaper. I mean, I don't love this card either. I don't even really need, like, these land cyclers, because I'm not... Like, Rocks and Brutes is probably better than the Kree Sentinel. These are both pretty bad. Well, can't say that I love this deck. We have far too many spells. Is my deck actually capable of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? I mean, these are all villains. I don't even know if this is good, to be honest. Just 4 Hydra Assault Robots? I don't know. Alright. And again, this is the issue, right? Like, black-red villains seemed somewhat open, but even when it is, it doesn't seem like it's good enough. All right, I got 15 villains, right? 14 plus Avengers Under Siege. Everything is a villain. I actually really would have loved that villain land. Now I kind of wish that I had it. We have a reasonable curve here, and we have a lot of interaction. Okay, here we are, drafting the worst archetype in the last draft. What am I missing? Hydra Infiltrations. Sometimes I'm not even going to want to attack. All my creatures kind of suck. And 1 land cycler in a 2-color deck just seems fine when my curve isn't that high. And this is the better one, I think. I don't draw a ton of cards, but I like the menace on this. And I do have Baron Strucker, Visions of Villainy, and Red Room Recruit as a way to trigger this. All right, let's give this a whirl. Okay, well, before my round 1 starts, I wanted to say that if you've been enjoying this content and wanted to support the channel in another way, my Patreon is the best way to do so. That is patreon.com/paulcheon. Wanted to give a big shout out to all the patrons. Thank you so much for your support. Access to the Patreon gives you access to my Discord channel, which I think is a really great way to join a wonderful group of folks looking to up their limited game. I actually had them decide what content to make today. I wasn't sure between Marvel Superheroes Limited or Cube, but shout out to them. They voted on this. We're going to make it work. And yeah, really, really great group of folks. Check it out. On the play here, no good cheap creatures, but, you know, it's not like every hand has to have the ideal mana curve, right? And This is a hand that has double Cruel Alliance, so... Just going to be firing these off. It's a nice little 1, 2, 3 into a 4, a Koye, okay. That plays very, very well against my all my removal. Wow. It's a lightning strike. I don't know why they fired that off right away, but okay. 2 cards left in hand. Very aggressive red-white strategy. Let's play the Red Hulk. Like, I guess they could have Murdoch's Crucible. Oh. Nope. They had the Superhero Civil War. Look, this is not cool. Like, my deck's already kind of medium. And then you just have to drop this on me? Is this how we're going to complete this format? We're just dead, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm super dead. Yeah, okay. Oh, well, you know. Sometimes you get Superhero Civil War. That will happen. Alright. Opponent on the play. Noting that I made some adjustments to my deck. I actually adjusted my deck so that I can be playing more of a mid-range game. I don't know that this 2-mana 1/3 ping strategy is necessarily good enough, so we'll see how it plays out. And I think 2 lands on the draw is an easy keep. Old Biochemist, okay. All right. Nice little curve. Nothing from the opponent, okay. The real question is, do I want to just play something else? Probably. Yeah, let's just go to the face. Well, yeah. I mean, they're at 9 life, so. Khazar, okay. The issue here is they just don't have like fantastic blocking scenarios. Because I just get everything back. So. Sure. Alright, that was good. Alright, they're at 5 life. Lots of options next turn. The thing is, I can play this... This makes it so that this isn't vulnerable pre-combat. Oh, Super Scroll, okay. Is that a villain? Oh, it is. Granted, I should probably just kill the Super Scroll. But I can just play both of these and just attack with everything. I think it's better to just set up a spot where I can attack with... I can get Ares down. Well, maybe this trade was fine, but I'm okay with this. Ninja of the hand, okay. Activate. Sure. Okay. Let's go Baron. Ares. Discard this. No attacks. Yeah, maybe I should have actually accepted that trade. Now I kind of feel a little bit worse about it. They're just trying to stabilize here. Cruel Alliance, sure. It's an Ultron drone. The 2 cards in hand, okay. Discard this. We don't have great attacks. Yeah. That's the thing too, like, I'm putting them on having some removal here too, so I don't want to make like crazy attacks. Alright, I should kill that 5/5. Kill the 5/5, send in the clowns, and that's technically lethal unless they play something else this turn. Cosmic Cube. That seems... okay. Sure. Sure. I think my opponent's dead. Yeah, I mean, they're just... I guess they're just dead on board, huh? I mean, their deck was certainly sweet. Their deck was certainly sweet. But we were able to take it down. I don't know. I think there was like... I think I could have... Okay, I definitely should have attacked with the Crimson Operative. I think there were a couple of little things I could have done differently. Or at least one thing. Alright. On the play here, 4 lands... No 2-drops. Noting that I boarded out a lot of my 2-drops. You don't have anything. Okay, they had something. Alright, green-white aggro. Jennifer Walters. That's a good one. I almost prefer this. You got me. You truly got me. Let's kill this. Gonna save Hour of Defeat for something bigger, and then I can also use the Bullseye to kill the Viv Vision if I need. Okay. Okay, so they're blue-white splashing green? Right? That's the only thing that makes sense. If they want to spend their turn 5 to activate Avengers Tower, so be it. You know what I mean? I mean, their deck looks fine. Totally fine. In fact, it looks very good, so... And that's why I kept, by the way, the Ultron drone over Hulk. Okay, Kingpin Enforcers. Hopefully I draw a land next turn. White Widow, okay. Probably want to put me on a 2-turn clock. Interesting. 4, 5, 6 mana. I can't play this, sadly. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. They're 10 life. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I wanted them to spend all the mana. Put that there. Okay, this is a big turn. Need to draw something big. Another big turn. I can't really attack. Hold on, let me think. They have 1 card. They go to 3. They eat this and go to 3. And then if they don't have a removal spell and play another blocker, or if I don't attack and they play another blocker, I guess they don't have to attack with this. So if they attack, they eat this, they go to 3. Then if they play another blocker, it does... Oh no, I don't have lethal. Alright. They got me. Ah, solid hero deck. Solid hero deck. This shows me for trying to draft villains. That's what we learned today. Right? That is what we learned today. Why? Why do we draft villains? Alright. Opponent on the play. We drew our 1 good card. Hopefully it does some work here for us. Undercover Scroll, yeah. It's a villain, unfortunately. That's another villain. They didn't attack me, so they have a counterspell up. It's whatever. I'm gonna have to run into it eventually. Presumably they're going to play something monstrous here. Nope, that's a Herbie. I think there's no real point in sandbagging this. I'm just going to play this out. It's going to kill a Herbie and I get to get a couple of creatures here. And given their color combination, I just don't think I'm going to get too much more value out of this anyways. Love all the cards that they've played. These are among the my favorite cards in the format. Hercules. That one's less exciting. Oh, bullseye, what a draw. What do I want to discard? Probably this. I mean, it was either discard. It was either kill a 4/4 or a 3/3, right? So next turn we're gonna get access to a ton of treasure, right? That's why I played out the villains this turn. Okay, take 5. Although I don't know if I like this sets me up for like a really big attack here. There's Hydra Infiltration. I mean, it's kind of a racing spot, right? Oh, I'm at 8 life, though? Oh, but this gains me life. Being able to double spell off of that is super nice. Alright, 6 to 11. So they have to be very careful with how they choose to attack me here. I have a couple of menace creatures. Bullseye is also representing some damage to their face. I have 3 menace creatures, and they're at 6. And I have an inactive Bullseye. I figured that was better than playing out the Crimson Operative, right? Just because this is such a better attacker. Okay, this card is not good. Not worth the splash, in my opinion. I mean, if you're blue-black, I'll play it because it's a 2-drop, but... Okay. I don't think they're going to attack me. Wow! That was a good draw. That... I mean, I guess I had a bunch of menace creatures. Okay. Well, I like how I had to get a good draw my best card in my deck, only for it to be somewhat close. All right. All right, opponent on the play. My hand is all removal and Avengers Under Siege. Red Room Recruit, okay. If they discard a land, okay, they didn't, so we'll just... It doesn't die to Avengers Under Siege anyways. I might as well fire it off. I mean, it's a bold biochemist. Wow, nothing? Okay, well, I'm not going to use Lightning Strike on that. They're so far away from activating that thing. Aerial Doombot. Is that a villain? Sure is. Thinking. Honestly, I don't care about a 1/1 flyer. I would much rather... Like, the 1/3 does much better job of double blocking with... against my menace stuff. Nothing? Okay. Can they do for 2 mana here? If it was a land cycler, they would have done it already. Decoy Ploy? That can't be good enough. Claw. Oh, that is very good. Oof. Wait, they took that? I mean, they have to have a kill spell for Red Hulk, right? Okay, they got a Plains. Okay, so Murdoch's Crusade. And then they go to 1. Or Supervillain Lockup, one or the other. Those lands were not ideal. Excuse me. Alright, they're at 6 life. They're chump blocking, but of course now they're finding all their colors, and oftentimes Screw will beat Flood. And those are 2 pretty big draw steps for us. And by the way, this is why this card looks awesome, but there are just so many times where you play it, you spend 6 mana, your opponent spends 2 mana to kill it, and you don't really have anything to show for it. I kind of just want to cut it, but I don't know. It's like, do I want to play that or Ultron Drone, right? Oh, I have artifacts to sacrifice, actually. Let's attack first and see what they do. Let's hope they don't have take up the shield. Okay. Oh my gosh, they actually had a counterspell. Wait, why didn't they, they've never cast this card, clearly, because they could have drawn 2 and discarded a card. Wow, that was a lot of lands. Okay. Well, we take it. We take it. Oof. But this is one of those, like, I need to draw my best card and, like, just scrape over the edge. All right, well, we got some gems back. That's good. One more and we break even. All right. 4 lands, Bullseye, Cruel Alliance, our defeat. We will keep. What are we at? 3 wins right now? Oof. Draft Security Officer. Another land. Okay. I mean, my hand is all removal, and I want to play the Bullseye after I get Madam Hydra down. So they wanted to cycle and play deep power in their own creature. Herbie, very, very good card. That is also a very, very good card. 4 cards in hand. Yeah. The thing is, it's going to kill the Herbie, and also, it's not an extra villain spell for the Madam Hydra. Actually, if anything, waiting for the Madam Hydra once I get the treasures is pretty good, because then I can go Hydra plus another villain on the same turn, which is quite nice. So yeah, I think I'm just going to kill the Rocks and Brutes here. Get that swamp out of there. Burrow back up, okay? Alright, and we got treasures here for the Bullseye as well. Oh no, but I don't actually have what I want here. Because if I go like this... Oh no, I can still do both. Okay, hold on. Play this. Play this. Sacrifice the artifact. Really good turn. Attack. Helicarrier strike, I guess. Sure. Basically, I have a good shot to... I have a good chance of winning every time I draw this. You know what I mean? They kept on top. 1 card left. Okay, let's draw some cards. It's a Hydra Assault Robot. Got to think about this. Yeah, let's play this out too. I mean, it gets in for a point of damage anyways off the assault robot, so. But remember, they kept the card on top. Brave Brawler, that's very good. Okay. Hopefully they don't have take up the shield here. Take it. Gosh. That's frustrating. That is really frustrating. Yeah, I don't really have great attacks anymore. I guess I can kill the Brave Brawler, but I would be losing... I would be trading a lot of resources to do so. Really needed to find a little more action there. And they're going to stabilize here beautifully. Okay, that is a lightning strike. Are you kidding me? Alright, well, I guess I gotta kill this one. Alright, they had a Black Panther as well. Okay. I mean, they're at 4 life. Lightning Strike was a very good draw. Got a block. I have a really good board here. I mean, I don't know what they have. But, like, I have... Okay, so they're digging? Wait, why didn't they do that ahead of time? Wait, why didn't they do this first? They would have drawn a billion cards. Wow. Black Panther, Mighty Thor. I don't know how we're winning some of these games. I mean, to be fair, Avengers Under Siege is an extremely powerful card. So that's really why. Alright, on the play. Okay. We are I think we've had this in our opener the last 3 or 4 games in a row. I mean, look, there's one way. That's one way to do it. Okay, that is one way to do it. Agents of Hydra. Okay. I will decline respectfully. Cloak and Dagger. That's fine. They're going to take Avengers Under Siege. But if they do, then I can just use Bullseye to kill it or whatever and get it back. But they have to take Avengers Under Siege. It's too clean for me to just play it here. Honestly, it's a little bit risky to play Cloak and Dagger like against a black-red deck facing off a Bullseye. Probably would have waited, but if you don't have anything else to play, I guess you have to play it anyways. Yep. All right. I don't want them to use Take Up the Shield or Stolen Stark Tech or anything like that. You could definitely make the case that I discarded one of my other removal spells, I guess, but... Alright, Land Cycle, the Rocks and Brutes. Ooh, Ares. That's a nice one. Curious. I mean, look, if you didn't attack because you wanted to block, right? So... I mean, just getting this going, just so that I can make a bunch of treasures is pretty nice. If they use a Murdoch's Crusade on the Avengers Under Siege, I'm still up like 2/2/1 Menace creatures, so that's not even that bad either. A mountain specifically, if I draw land, would be decent, because I can go like Lightning Strike, Ares, God of War. Okay. These are all villains. I mean, there can't really be that many other decisions here, right? Like, what are you doing here? Alright. Opponent at 12 life. They know my hand. My board is quite nice. I can fire off both my removal spells next turn. I should probably stop on my upkeep here. Because if I'm going to fire off the Hour of Defeat, might as well get that Surveil in case I draw something better. I don't know. Although, that's not even necessarily the case, because I have Bullseye and a bunch of treasures, and that could be good enough to kind of clear up some of the other stuff, so... We'll see what they play. I mean, if there's like a giant monster that I absolutely have to kill no matter what... then I'll just play the Hour of Defeat. But if not, it's probably better just to see what I draw. Madame Mask. Okay. So this is one of those things, right? If they don't discard a thing, then I can kill with Bullseye. Okay. Oh! The Baron. I gotta think here. I'm still gonna draw, I think. Alright. So, Certainly, I need to kill this. Sure. Do I attack here too? They're at 12? Sure. I mean, I get it back, so this is not really the best block. Yeah, this is really interesting what to do with these treasures. Like, the bullseye makes me consider doing things one way. That's what I would do. Just, well, although that's not a good trade either, so rough beats all around. Honestly, it's probably just drone make a token. You know what I mean? They go to 6. Then I have 2/4 power creatures and a 2/2. Like, that's still just really, really good. So unless they play that black sweeper that I lost to previously, like, it's going to be hard for them to beat this. But the thing is, I was leaving my options open because I could have done this first, and maybe I should have, right? Where I tap one of these creatures, and maybe if I planned out my turn a little bit, like, I think maybe my opponent should be at 4 life there. Like, I was kind of going through the motions with whatever plays I had available, but I don't think I did the best job. Felt like they had a Murdoch's Crusade for a while, so wouldn't be shocked if they fired off here on the Ultron drone. And then I can go Hour of Defeat the Kingpin's Enforcers, and then they lose the game. But yeah, given how I line things up, I should have used the teamwork on the Cruel Alliance on the Ultron drone. For sure. Oh. Okay, well, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. All right. Well, I will say, I mean, this deck is certainly overperforming. It really helps when I draw my rare every single game. Like, there is a reason why that rare has such a high win rate. Because it's incredible whenever you can play it. Just self-contained. It's not even like I've been getting blowout. It's not like I've been killing like 2 or 3 allies or something. Or heroes, rather. It's just make 2/2/1s, and then your opponent takes 2, and then make 3 treasures is just a really, really strong card. All right, on the play here. Something's wrong. I need to file a bug report here. We don't have Avengers Under Siege in our opener. Something's wrong, right? Because I've had it in my opening hand every other game. So clearly it's not my fault. Futurist Forge, okay. I kind of want this to be a 2/3 if possible. Yeah. But I want to keep some number of my interaction too, right? So. Alright, that's a bullseye. Let's attack. Spider-Man to the rescue. You know, I made I think in a previous video, like, I fired off the spot removal spell over the more mana efficient play, and I deeply regretted it, so we're going to take this approach now. Let's get Madam Hydra down. Hope they can't kill it. They killed it. Okay. It's not an artifact. I don't really have anything to discard. Like, I don't really want to discard Hour of Defeat, you know what I mean? Okay, take out the shield. Nice. Okay, well, certainly I'll fire that off. Don't want the swamp. Opponent takes 2. I'll keep the land in my hand for Connive. Like, if I draw Baron von Strucker or something. Okay, that's a Falcon. Falcon, rather. Do I kill the Falcon? They have 3 cards. I would lose my Hydra Assault Robot, though. Or do I just play this and do nothing? And have my opponent take 2 damage? Sure. Game Scientists. Okay. That was not great. Need to draw more villains. Ultron Drone would be very good. They're still just digging here. Solid deck. Just a bunch of decent blue and white cards. This is not great. Not great at all. I'm only playing 16 lands, by the way. So this is a really, really tough spot to be in. And the reason why I'm doing it like this, like, I just want to keep the assault robots. Like, the way that I'm winning this game is by just burning out my opponent. And so I can't really afford to sacrifice Hydra assault robots here. You know what I mean? And I'm playing lands to maybe play around We Say DNA as well. Like, if I draw Avengers Under Siege, like, this is obviously ridiculous, right? This is one of those, okay, I'm not having a lot of fun. Very unfortunate. Rattled off 5 straight lands. No, wait. Where did this land come from? 10 lands? Gosh. I mean, they're also on 10 lands, but I'm playing red-black. It's amazing how much worse my deck is when I don't have Avengers Under Siege. It's crazy. All right, well, now I'm behind enough where I have to make the weird blocks. So here we block. Block here. They're at 7. All right, we're at 12. You know they have a big follow-up here, too. Yeah. See? Why couldn't you be here, like, way earlier? Gosh. And they did have the We Say DNA, so. Oh, leader! So we lost to what? Did we get Superhero Civil War and leadered? All right. That will happen. That will happen. Wow, and they discarded Raft Security Officer. That is really rough. All right, I'm just going to concede here. All right, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. We had an incredible run in this format overall. And so I finished things off drafting what is pretty much consensus the worst color combination in the entire format. And that was largely just me putting this deck together based on the fact that I first pick Avengers Under Siege. And hey, look, the games that I drew this card, it was fantastic. I think I would have maybe preferred to just splash this in maybe a green or green-black or some other type of deck. But it is what it is. Like, I still try to make this work. And we still went 5-3, which I think is a lot better than I would have expected. And the issue here, I mean, look, my removal was great. The removal was not an issue. It's just my actual ways to win the game or close out the games were kind of weak. Just cards like this are just, like, I wanted to try and see if this will do any work in a super dedicated villains deck, but it still wasn't enough. So I don't know what the issue, like, I think there just needed to be a little bit more support here. My suspicion is that the villains deck was too strong during early playtesting and they kind of nerfed it. Because now, I mean, just the package as a whole just ends up being super, super underwhelming. Hey, but still went 5-3 overall, which is still not terrible. We got our gems back, and we get to look forward to The Hobbit. So first, I'm going to take a look at my overall stats for this set, and then we can look into, and then I can just do a brief conclusion to the Marvel Superheroes draft experience. All right, let's take a look here. And as you can see, here are my results. No cherry picking. You just see what you get here. So we've been doing really, really well, especially over the last 10-ish drafts. 5-3, 5-3 in the other video. 7-0. We won a random box here. 7-1, 6-3, 7-0, 4-3, 7-0, 7-1. So, and a couple of middling finishes there. But if we take a look at my overall performance in this format, and this includes the Arena Direct events, this includes my regular Premier drafts, and also my Contender drafts, my overall win rate for the format was 67.2%. 18 trophies. It's pretty good. Now, if we break this up into different formats, Premier draft is actually going to be lower because I actually did a lot more Contender drafts than regular drafts, right? So for Premier drafts, we were at 63.5. And then for Arena Direct, we actually did pretty well. We were at 70%. Usually your win rates should probably be a little bit higher, just because I think on average the competition is probably a little bit lower. But I don't know. 70% is fine, of course. And then for Contender drafts, we did quite well. We are at 70.8% overall. So Contender drafts, you know, oftentimes I'm pretty highly ranked when I'm doing these. So I think getting over 70% is really, really strong for the Contender draft video. So like I said, all in all, as a whole, very, very happy with my performance with the format. Just lots of winning, especially towards the end, especially because week one, I said this before, week one, I was sitting at like 55 to 58% win rate. I was getting my butt kicked. So we made an absolutely ridiculous comeback towards the end. Actually, if you look at this graph here, as you can see, we started out, I mean, honestly, for the first couple of days, we were hovering around the mid 50s. And then we started kind of figuring out what's up. So that's one thing about myself and my approach to these formats. I won't necessarily always have a full understanding of the format when the set comes out. And when I don't, I like to try a bunch of different things, see what works and see what doesn't. And I highly recommend that for all of you as well, right? You know, you don't have 17 lands data available to you when the set first comes out. So you have to experiment, figure out what's good, and make those adjustments quickly so that you can kind of right the wrong. So that's kind of what happened for me. I was trying a bunch of villain stuff. I thought it was going to be powerful because we didn't know. Lost a lot trying the villains deck, realized it didn't work, realized that white was kind of busted early on. And then, of course, towards the end, it just started doing, you know, we just started kind of going nuts over the course of the last few drafts. So all in all, pretty successful format. What are my overall thoughts on the format? Well, let's go with what I liked about the format here. I really liked the basic land cyclers, and I feel like there were just a lot of different ways you can actually draft multicolor decks, but not to the point where you can go crazy like Secrets of Strixhaven. This felt far more reasonable in terms of how you can build creative decks and stretch your mana base. You had, of course, the selection of the dual lands, which I think should be in every single set, basically. You know, these subterranean caverns. You had the surveil lands, and then you have the basic land cyclers, and all of that combined meant that you can potentially splash for some bombs in other colors. So I really like the mana fixing. I think they really did a good job of balancing the mana fixing in this format where it wasn't too crazy like Secrets of Strixhaven. I think that was just too much. Secrets of Strixhaven and Tarkir Dragonstorm, I know that was trying to push those multicolor sets themes. I think they pushed it a little bit too far because it was just a little bit too easy, and that left for not varied play patterns just because every deck was trying to do very similar things. Also, I really liked the hero decks, right? The hero synergy seemed to work really well, and I also liked the fact that some of the equipments, there were some cards that really overperformed relative to my expectations going in. Shield Spike Hit was a card that I thought would be a C- level equipment, maybe a D, and it easily performed as a C+ level common for the aggressive white strategy. So I like that as well. I also really liked the cycle of the uncommon lands. The Villain Land, Baxter Building, and Avengers Tower, they were all amazing. And those are cool payoff lands that you really have to make a tough choice between taking one of those and taking a top quality common, because those all performed really well, and I really, really like that. Flavor-wise, I think they also did a pretty good job. Just, you know, this definitely felt like a Marvel set, right? You had your heroes, you had your villains, You had your legends. They were all pretty nice. And because this was a larger set, unlike something like Ninja Turtles, where you can end up with too many copies of the same legend, that effect was definitely less apparent because we have a main set release. So the thing with The Hobbit, that's one of my concerns, where we're moving into a small set again with a bunch of legends, and that really should change how you approach taking certain cards, right? Where like, if you have a 2-mana legend, you probably don't want to pick up the second copy of it unless it's really, really strong. So all in all, and also the gameplay, the draft sometimes was pretty on rails, right? Where you kind of settle into your hero or villain lane or multicolor strategy. But I thought the gameplay was pretty deep. There was a decent number of tricks that you need to be mindful of, counter spells, flash cards, and there's a fair number of things to do with your mana as well. So I thought the gameplay was pretty deep, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Playing around Take Up the Shield, We Say D-Nay, Helicarrier Strike, Lightning Strike, Hulk Smash, just a lot of different things people can play. And just being mindful of that, having access to that information and playing around those cards, I think is something that can separate your win percentage against other people, right? Especially as the format matures. So I think I was able to leverage that more as we played this format more and more. Negatives. Well, there was a couple of archetypes that were horribly imbalanced, and I'm not sure what happened, right? And specifically the color red. If you take a look here, between the win rates of all the 2-color decks, Rakdos is sitting at 51.9%, which is a good 3% below kind of the average user of 17 lands. And if you just look at every single combination with red, right? If the average is 55%, Rakdos 52%, Gruul 54%, Izzet 53%, Boros is the only one that was that average at 55%, right? So that is a testament to some horrible color imbalances in the format. And a lot of the issue was just red's commons, especially the creatures, kind of a joke, right? Hydra Assault Robot, Volcanic Villain, Kunlun Warrior. These are all just such mediocre creatures. The best creature, I think the second best creature is Kree Sentinel as a land cycler and Crimson Operative, right? So I think they could have done a little bit better here. These cards probably just needed to possibly be a little bit stronger, but there were just a lot of blanks amongst red, and red really suffered as a result of that. The only reason why red and white particularly was good was because white ended up being one of the strongest colors in the format. So when you pair the red cards with some of the white cards, you use the red as a support color for lightning strikes and Hulk smashes, and then mostly you just have a bunch of white creatures to kind of close things out. Meanwhile, archetypes like Azorius and Selesnya, right, performed quite well. And then green, basically all the other colors were mostly fine. And really, red was just kind of wildly unplayable. So that was an issue. Now, being a part of play design myself previously, I understand you got a team of like 10 to 12 people, right? There's only so much information you can gather. Everybody is busy focusing on their main sets. Limited is, of course, one part of that. So you're not going to get everything right. You try to make some improvements at the end, and wherever the chips fall, they fall. And this was one of those sets where there was definitely a color imbalance issue with red specifically, and it's a color that you should actively basically avoid. And that was my approach to the format. So that's a big negative. One other thing, I'm not going to go off on this too much because at this point, we should definitely be mindful of the fact that there are just going to be bums that exist in every single format, right? So, you're going to lose to them. But part of having bums also means that you get to also play with said bums, right? And that's also a really, really fun thing. But the one card for me that was just the most egregious was the Superhero Civil War, because there was very little counterplay to that card, and it was in a mythic rare, and this is just me coming from somebody who mostly enjoys Magic through playing limited. That's just a really unfun card to have it rare. No counterplay. That one I think is really silly. It has a higher win rate than Captain Marvel, right? And when you look at those cards, Captain Marvel has to be the better card. And it's a mythic at least, right? So, and same thing with like Photon. Photon is a mythic. Now, I don't know that I love the hexproof on that either, but yeah, so some of these rares that have very, very little counterplay to them, I'm not a super big fan of, and the Superhero Civil War was one of them. So all in all, what would I give this format? Well, certain archetypes didn't work. I wasn't a big fan of black-red. I almost never drafted black-red or blue-red. And that is a pretty big knock against it. But I did enjoy the gameplay. The format ended up being surprisingly deep because of the land cycler. So I really hope that they do these more. 2 mana basic land cycling, not forest cycling or island cycling. It's got to be basic land cycling so that it gives you those options to really be a little bit creative, splash a Killmonger, splash some web ups, do whatever you need to do to kind of play those effects. So all in all, I would give this set probably a B. Yeah, maybe a B plus, somewhere around there. I don't think it reaches that C level, but I think I would probably put it between B and B plus. Admittedly, I might be a little bit biased because of my success with this format. Other people who have maybe been struggling would maybe put this a little bit lower. Maybe they play against more superhero civil wars and they give it a B minus. But I don't think this deserves necessarily to get into that C tier. You know, it's really hard to get into the C tier, in my opinion. We're looking at the previous Spider-Man set. I mean, that's probably like a D plus tier, something along those lines. But for this, I'd probably give it like a B or a B plus. And that's not bad. That's not bad. Especially given, you know, if they did a better job of balancing the villains, making them a little bit stronger, maybe a lot of bit stronger because the heroes archetype was so strong. If they made the villains archetype stronger and propped that up, perhaps also made the artifact synergies a little bit stronger or scale back the hero synergies just a little bit. Hero in training could have been a 2-1, for example. Then maybe we could have gotten it up to the, you know, definite B plus territory. Don't think it cracks the A level. Overall, I'd give the set a B, which is pretty solid. Very, very solid for what we've seen. All right. And where does that put us? Well, starting tomorrow, we have The Hobbit. The Hobbit coming out is pretty exciting. It is a small set, but I got to kind of take a look at all the cards and just excited to move on and try something new. I'm hoping that it looks more like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I think for a small set did a pretty good job of having good playable archetypes, and I'm hoping that The Hobbit does that as well. Now, noting that the set doesn't come out until sometime between 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific, so I will try to get that video out the door by noon Pacific. No guarantees, 1 p.m. at the latest, but you won't be getting that regularly scheduled 8 a.m. video release because I want to get to producing as much Hobbit content as possible the moment that it comes out. So that's what we're going to be doing. Looking forward to it. I had a decent time here with Marvel Superheroes. I actually think on the 30th to 40th draft, I think I preferred this to actually Secrets of Strixhaven. But I will say I enjoyed the first 20 drafts of Secrets of Strixhaven more than most other formats that I drafted. It was a lot of fun until everybody started doing the soup thing, and then it was less fun. This still had kind of, you know, that varied play experience where every opponent you play just has something a little bit different. And it's interesting to figure out what they kind of put together. So this had a little more replayability to me than Secrets of Strixhaven, but overall fun factor of the first 20 drafts, SOS definitely has this format beat. All right, well, that was me just kind of going on and on about the format. Let me know what you think. I do like to give my final thoughts on every draft as I do them. And this was my final Marvel Superhero draft of the year. If they do a flashback format, I'll probably do one, but we move on to The Hobbit tomorrow. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, as I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more daily videos just like this. If you've enjoyed this content and wanted to support the channel in another way, I do have a Patreon. That is patreon.com/paulcheon. Also, check out TCGplayer.com for all your Magic the Gathering singles and sealed product needs. If you wanted to buy some booster boxes of the Hobbit set coming out, or you wanted some singles for your standard, modern, or commander decks, check out TCGplayer.com and make sure you hit that affiliate link in the description below before making any purchases. Last but certainly not least, go to heavyplay.com for all things Magic the Gathering supplies and accessories. Deck boxes, dice boxes, sleeves, multiple kinds of sleeves now, and much, much more. You want to go to heavyplay.com/paulcheon to get 10% off your first order. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the mean streets of the Hobbit world tomorrow.